Welcome back to Shakesyear. I'm going to try to do this quick because the timer is going to go off on my oven in like 7 minutes saying that my dinner is done. So hopefully we will get this through and done before my timer goes off. Though, fair warning, this is a long monologue. So we're in Act 2, Scene 4 of Henry VIII, and today we get to hear from King Henry VIII himself. And this scene has been all about the divorce proceedings between Henry and Queen Catherine. And Queen Catherine has decided that she doesn't like what Campius and Wolsey have to say, and she wants the Pope to make the determination whether or not her marriage to King Henry is legitimate. And she stormed out of the courtroom. And yesterday we had Cardinal Wolsey sort of making a plea / covering his butt towards the king and saying, I hope you know, I hope you don't think that I started all of this or made her angry or all that kind of stuff. This wasn't, you don't hold me responsible, do you? And the king replies, My lord cardinal, I do excuse you. Yea, upon mine honor, I free you from it. You are not to be taught that you have many enemies that know not why they are so, but like to village curs, bark when their fellows do. By some of these, the queen is put in anger. You are excused. But will you be more justified? You ever have wished the sleeping of this business, never desired it to be stirred, but oft have hindered, oft, the passages made toward it. On my honor, I speak my good lord cardinal to this point, and thus far clear him. Now, what moved me to it? I will be bold with time and your attention, then. Mark the inducement. Thus it came, give heed to it. My conscience first received a tenderness, scruple, and prick on certain speeches uttered by the Bishop of Bayonne, then French ambassador, who had been hither sent on the debating and marriage twixt the Duke of Orleans and our daughter Mary. In the progress of this business, ere a determinate resolution, the bishop, did require a respite, wherein he might the king his lord advertise whether our daughter were legitimate, respecting this our marriage with the dowager, sometimes our brother's wife. This respite shook the bosom of my conscience, entered me, yea, with a spitting power, and made to tremble the region of my breast, which forced such way that many mazed considerings did throng, and pressed in with this caution. First, methought, I stood not in the smile of heaven, who had commanded nature that my lady's womb, if it conceived a male child by me, should do more offices of life to it than the grave does to the dead, for her male issue, or died where they were made, or shortly after this world had aired them. Hence, I took a thought. This was a judgment on me, that my kingdom, well worthy the best heir in the world, should not be gladded in it by me. Then follows that I weighed the danger which my realm stood in, by this my issues fail, and that gave me many a groaning throe. Thus, hulling in the wild sea of my conscience, I did steer toward this remedy, whereupon we are now present here together. That's to say, I meant to rectify my conscience, which I then did feel full sick, and yet not well, by all the reverend fathers of the land, and doctors learned. First, I began in private with you, my lord of Lincoln. You remember how under my oppression I did reek when I first moved you. And the Bishop of Lincoln replies, and then Henry's like, I've been talking for a real long time. You tell him how messed up I was when I came to talk to you. So basically what Henry is saying here, he doesn't hold Wolsey responsible for this whole divorce thing. The reason why the divorce came into his head is because the Duke of Orleans in France was supposed to marry Henry's daughter, Mary, but in coming to check and see if that marriage could happen, the Bishop of Bayonne was there to see if this marriage between the Duke of Orleans and Mary was a thing that could happen. And the Bishop of Bayonne raised the question of whether or not Henry and Catherine's marriage was legit. So just having the question asked at that point, Henry started thinking, and he's like, you know, Catherine wasn't able to give me a male heir, only female heirs. So maybe this was some sort of punishment from heaven, that since our marriage was not legitimate, that we wouldn't have any male children. So that's my fault and my bad. And maybe, you know, I shouldn't lose the crown. My family shouldn't lose the crown, the throne, all that sort of thing, just for this. So maybe I need to be with somebody who could give me a male child, is sort of what he's saying. And that is how he says the idea of divorcing Catherine came into his head. Nothing to do with Anne Boleyn, though take that with however many grains of salt you would like to take that with. And then he engages his audience, and he's like, hey, Bishop of Lincoln, you remember when I came to seek your counsel on this matter, how like screwed up I was in the head? And the bishop is like, yep. And the king's like, no, I've been talking for a long time, so tell the rest of them how messed up I was. And the Bishop of Lincoln is like, yep, you were messed up. And then tomorrow we get to hear a little bit more from Henry as he continues to talk about why he is in the right in wanting to divorce Catherine. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for that. Mwah.